So it's true, everybody, the money is available to claim through the stimulus relief programs, and lawmakers have announced that they are planning to send up to $10,000 bonus relief checks to Americans that meet the new eligibility requirements. Now, the boom in remote work across the country during a crisis like it is here looks like it's here to stay for some time. And now we're actually seeing a number of cities willing to pay up to $10,000 to convince remote workers to move there and earn a regular buck. There are several United States cities that have started to offer financial incentives to attract more residents. Incentives range from cash and club memberships to recreational packages and other items. It is important to note to everybody that the requirements for awarding the incentives vary from city to city. But in most cases, you must be at least 18 years old and either employed full-time or willing to accept a full-time job. Now in Northwest Arkansas, it's home to several cities. An incentive package for remote workers moving to the region includes $10,000. Also near West Virginia University, the community offers remote workers an incentive package worth up to $20,000, including $12,000 in cash and various gifts and other perks. Now, over the past 2 years, the IRS extends the tax filing deadline because of the crisis, giving people extra breathing room to wrap up their returns. But this year, tax day returns to its regularly scheduled deadline, with returns due April 18th. For those who need some more time, filing for an extension is quick and straightforward. This will give you until October 17th, 2022 to send your tax return to the IRS. Americans are already falling behind in the current tax season, according to the latest IRS statistics. About 91 million people have filed their returns as of April 1st, down 93 million filers at the same time last year, when taxpayers had an extra month to get their taxes to the IRS. And according to the agency, in a typical year, Americans file about 160 million tax returns, which means that some 70 million people still need to file before the April 18th deadline. Experts have said that people do have a tendency to wait until the last minute, and you can get an extension for 6 months or so. But one of the most important things to know about filing an extension is that it's not an extension to pay. In other words, if you owe the IRS this year, you still have to pay by April 18th, even if you get an extension until October 18th. Taxpayers who get an extension to file their taxes will have until October 17th to file their taxes. Typically, the extension gives people until October 15th to file their forms because that date falls on a Saturday, and taxpayers have until the next business day, October 17th, to file. And I know many of you are wondering how to get a tax extension. First, you have to request an extension by April 18th, or you could face a failure to file penalty. But according to the IRS, the extension is automatic, but you will still need to take the first step of filing some paperwork with the IRS. To ask for an extension, you need to file the Form 4868. This is a one-page form that asks for basic information. It also asks you to estimate how much you owe in taxes. This form can also be used through the IRS free file service and can be used regardless of income. If it turns out the IRS owes you money, you will have to wait until after the IRS processes your tax return for the refund. So if you hold off until October 17th to file, you won't get the refund until about 3 weeks later. After that date, based on the IRS assessment that most taxpayers receive their refund within 21 days of filing. According to the latest IRS data, this year's average refund is more than $3,200. So folks, hopefully President Biden can get the job done this year and send out stimulus checks. If you think he will, then tell me in the comments down below.
I'm so tired of trickle-down economics. I never found that trickled down on top of my head very much. I was listed, had the great pleasure of being listed as the poorest man in Congress for 36 years. I still had making a hell of a lot more money than anybody else because I was getting a senator's salary. No kidding. I didn't think you should make money while you're in office. But anyway, the point of it is this. An awful lot of people are hurting. It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. The cost of a dozen eggs, the cost of a gallon of gasoline. It matters. It matters. So I concluded when I ran this last time that we're going to build this economy from the bottom up and the middle out. Because when that happens, everybody does well. The wealthy do very well, and the poor have a ladder up, and the middle class has a little bit of breathing room. I grew up in a household where we lived in a split-level home, 3 bedrooms, 4 kids, mom and dad, and a grandpapa lived with us. And I remember one night, the walls were kind of thin. My dad was restless. Next morning when he went to work, I asked Mom, what was the problem? She said, he just noticed his company just said, no more, not going to cover health insurance anymore. It matters. These things matter to people. They matter to ordinary people. We can, in fact, provide for anyone who has type 1 diabetes or a child, or 200,000 kids who have it. They need that insulin every single day. Average cost is $647 a month, sometimes as low as $90 and as high as $1,000, depending where you are. Now, how much it costs to make one of those vials?
It affects us all, and it connects us all. There are so many opportunities in space for our country and for all of humanity, from science to commerce to national security. All of you on this base know the importance of the space systems that you use and operate, and how important they are for our national security. Our space capabilities provide for global awareness, global connectivity, and global navigation. And of course, we also know the threats we face in space. This is why our administration has proposed the largest single increase in our military space capability in our nation's history. And we will continue to invest so you are able to protect our interest in space, which in turn protects our interests here on Earth. In recent months, you have heard the President and me talk a lot about defending international norms and rules. Rules and norms are shared principles that guide the behavior of people and of communities. They are common understandings of what is right, what is wrong, and what is acceptable. Whether it is the way we interact with our colleagues at work or the way nations.
Getting this safe drinking water, a few things are as important. I mean, safe clean air, obviously, and safe drinking water, a few things are as important to community as that. And we are taking this issue head on. Congressman Ryan carried the bill in the House, Senator Portman and I in the Senate, working as we replace these 600,000 pipes in Ohio, more than any state in the country except for Illinois, the pipes that go from main water lines into people's homes. We know the impact that lead contamination has on infants and babies and small children's brain development and how important it is, and we're going to replace those pipes in Youngstown and Appalachia and